Okay, so welcome to this webinar focused on the BIOSWITCH Toolbox. As you may already know, for the agenda, we will start with a brief introduction of our toolbox, our levels and assessment and self-assessment tool, the toolbox overview, the sustainability assessment tools, and at the end of the session, there is to have some minutes for questions and answers. So each of us will briefly present each of the topics, and at the end, you can just raise your hand, and we will go for the last session, or just drop a message in the chat function. Of course, this session is being recorded for you to know, and after the session, we will share with you the link to find the recording. And if you have also any questions that we couldn't answer here because of the time or because it was maybe too late, we will also answer it in the final email that we will share with you. So please, Marita, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know once you can see it full screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, excellent. So as Hazel has said, just some key aspects to be considered. The session will be recorded and will be shared through social media and also on the project website. Please feel free to use the chat box to enter your questions, and keep your cameras and microphones switched off unless you are presenting. So Hazel has already reviewed the agenda, so I think that we can start with the project brief introduction to be provided by Anna Tenunen, our project coordinator. So please, Anna, feel free to go ahead.
Great, thank you, Marta. You can directly go to the next slide. So a warm welcome also for everybody online to hear about our toolbox and how to use it. It's going to be an interesting short webinar today. I'm just going to give you a short introduction into our BIOSWITCH project. So our project is a 2-year project, and it has already run for approximately a year and a half. So we're in the final 5-6 months of our project, and we have been gathering some really interesting results, and of course the outputs from the toolbox are really interesting that we're able to showcase for you today. In general, our BIOSWITCH project aims to bring Europe to the forefront of the bio-based economy, and we do that by encouraging and supporting brand owners from different sectors to switch to bio-based approaches. And we have 8 partners across from Europe who have been actively working on this. Next slide, please. Yes, and then here you can see our key impacts that we are aiming at. So we really want to raise brand owners' interest in switching to bio-based, so they are in the core of our project, very key stakeholders. We want to enhance the brand owners' involvement with and the commitment to bio-based industry, and then also increase the marketability of bio-based alternatives. And we do this by fostering consumer awareness of the added value of these bio-based alternatives, bio-based products, when we compare them to the fossil-based counterparts. Next slide, please. Thank you. So what we have done in BIOSWITCH, what is our solution? It's a kind of this holistic systemic approach, which is based on 2 pillars. And we've done extensive work on the first pillar, so the framework, where we have placed the brand owners in the center of different events, communication actions, and also a lot of research has gone into figuring out motivations, perceptions, risks, bottlenecks that hinder or enable brand owners' activities in switching to bio-based. And based on that framework, we have been developing this BIOSWITCH Toolbox, which is an ultimate instrument that can assist the brand owners in their bio-based transition journey. So there are a lot of different materials that we have produced, and you will hear all about them in the presentations today. So thank you from my behalf, and hopefully you have a very interesting session ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. So the next item in our agenda is the bio-based readiness level and the self-assessment tool that has been developed. This will be presented by my colleague Hazel from Sustainable Innovation. So please, Hazel, feel free to go ahead.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So as Marta already explained, I will briefly talk about how to use this by the self-assessment test as part of how to use the BIOSWITCH toolbox. I will start by showing you this brief image in which you can basically see at the right, at the left side, the different readiness level that have been defined as part of the BIOSWITCH project. These are basically levels for brand owners, and they go from the rookie level, which is basically the start of this bio-based transition journey, to the leading score level, in which basically the bio-based transition journey has already taken place and is successfully completed. The idea is that for each of these levels, you have some communication materials available and some tools that will help you to further take the steps needed for the bio-based transition. And of course, if you are part of the leading scorer level, then you will basically be in charge also of helping others to, or inspiring others to take these transitions. The idea is that for explaining a bit about these levels, when we're talking about a rookie level, we are basically talking about early stages of this bio-based transition journey. And these are for brand owners that might not even know what a bio-based change is or how it is possible. And sometimes you maybe don't know even know the term, but you still so you still need some kind of information, evidence that will also like help you in order to take these steps and to try to think about how you could take this transition. And for this specific group, the tools available are the one related to awareness and learning tools. For the next level, the player level, these are for medium stages of the bio-based transition journey. Basically, as a brand owner, you are aware of the benefits to switch into a bio-based approach, but you still need some kind of guidance on how to do it, how to implement it, and like what kind, if it's actually feasible for your kind of product or service. In this specific group, what we offer is the tools related to the adoption ones. Then we have the most experienced level, in which these are more for advanced stages of this transition. And in this stage, the idea is that you as a brand owner have already implemented some kind of bio-based approaches already, but you still have like some minimum steps to take to be like fully bio-based. So you should probably need some guidance about how to raise awareness among your staff, or how to actually properly develop these approaches in your value chain, or to inform about the benefits that this could have for your end consumers. So if you are in this group, you will probably need the consolidation tools. And then we have the leading score that, as I told you, is basically when your bio-based transition journey is already completed. So you will probably be invited to join the value chain stakeholder group so you can share your experience. Even if we have like identified here some different tools for each of the groups, the idea is that you can access all the materials even if you are not part of that specific group. So if you are rookie level, we understand that probably the most the materials that will help you the most will be the ones related to awareness and learning tools. But if you want to access the materials related to consolidation tools, you can actually access them because they're all in on the BIOSWITCH website, so they're all freely accessible to you. So how could we determine these levels to a test that we have developed as part of the project? We have identified these 4 levels, and each of the questions helps us to understand which is your level regarding this bio-based transition, and based, of course, of your answers. We develop not only a qualitative analysis, let's say, in terms of the different answers that we're giving to the test, but also we do some kind of a quantitative or qualitative. So we understand and we want to see like the full picture to better identify what your level is and how we can actually help you. So I will go through these questions in a really quick way, just for you to know. Like, this first question is more related to your corporate strategy and how you're implementing these bio-based approaches as part of it. Then we're going to the level of share of ingredients or components in your products. As you can see, you have different answers in these different possible answers, and based on this, as I previously mentioned, we do some kind of a qualitative analysis to understand what your stage is. Then we ask you a bit about the percentage of share of this packaging from fossil-based to bio-based. And then our two last question, one is focused on the share of products that are partially or fully bio-based, and the other one is the share of the packaging of these products, and if they are like in the same sense, like if you have already taken some steps to change them from fossil-based to fully bio-based. After we understand all these questions that, as you have seen, there are basically 5, we conduct the analysis, we analyze it internally, and these are the results that you will receive when you conduct this test. We will contact you and we will offer you like what your level is from our project perspective, and you will have a link to access the BIOSWITCH toolbox and all the communication materials that are both useful for the level, but as I previously mentioned, you can also access the materials corresponding to other levels. You will also get an invitation to subscribe to this BIOSWITCH newsletter, and you will finally be also invited to follow BIOSWITCH on social media if you haven't done so. So of course, this is basically a quick summary of how to conduct this assessment test. Well, if you need some help or if you need some kind of guidance, you know that you have it available, and we will be here for you for helping you. So thank you.
Thank you, Hazel. So after reviewing this bio-based readiness level and the self-assessment tool, we will review the toolbox itself. So I'm going to share my screen again, so we can review the different tools that my colleague Hazel has been commenting on. And now I'm going full screen. Just wait a second, please. Okay, so I guess that you can see full screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So what is the BioSwitch Toolbox? This is a group of tools, and the idea is to support and boost brand owners' transition from fossil-based to bio-based approaches. As my colleague Hazel has said, you can find all the tools at project website, and the tools are grouped according to these levels that we have been reviewing before. So you have actually 2 possibilities for using the tool. The first one is to conduct this self-assessment tool test, so you can learn and know which is your bio-based readiness level and go directly to check the tools that are more related to your starting point. Otherwise, you can check any tool that might be interesting for you by going to the project website. So within the group of learning and awareness tools, we have the tools that you see here. The first one is how do I switch to bio-based. This is a group of recommendations and what the project is about and what the project can do for you. This is also summarized in why switching to bio-based project video. And in how do I switch to bio-based, you can also find a set of recommendations, best practices, and so on. In the Switching to Bio-Based Hall of Fame, you can find some success cases. This is posted in YouTube, and you can see here a screen caption of the filming. Then also, as part of the learning and awareness tools, we have the consumers and bio-based products, a love story. This is a nice brochure where you can find information about all the research work that has been done with consumers, about how they perceive bio-based materials, which are their motivations, their expectations about this kind of products. There is also this tool, Understanding the Main Barriers, and this presentation that you can see here, a screenshot as well, gathers all the information and all the conclusions that have been drafted from the work done with brand owners. Which are the main barriers that they perceive, how these myths can be busted, how we can address these barriers, and all this information is presented through infographics, charts, and so on. And then we have a glossary, which summarizes the main terms and words that are usually used in all the bioeconomy area, and circular bioeconomy, bio-based, and so on. So for the adoption tools, we have the What Can BioSwitch Do For You? This is a brief brochure that summarizes all the main outputs of the project, what is being done in the frame of the project. Then we have also Who Can Help Me? And in this tool, you will find a map with the relevant organizations in Europe that can help brand owners when switching to bio-based. Sometimes brand owners, they don't know where to find the knowledge or who could support them finding new partners for value change, or who could support them when they have a challenge and they need to find some technology providers. So by checking this map, you can find which are the key organizations like clusters, innovation agents, and that kind of organizations in your region that could support you. And then we have the sustainability assessment tool. Our colleague from BTT, Sami, will review this tool later, so I'm not going to enter into details here. And for the rest of the adoption tools, we have the Build Me the Value Chain. This is currently to be provided as a service. And the idea behind this tool is to have an event where the brand owner is the main representative of this event. And in this event, the brand owner will present the challenges that it's facing in this BioSwitch transition in order to find new partners for collaboration, for value chain building, and to collaborate with in order to produce new bio-based materials or develop new bio-based approaches, processes, technologies, etc. There is also this online matchmaking service. We organize an online event for matchmaking in the frame of the project. So here you will find all the information, how this event could be organized. And of course, if you need support from BioSwitch partner side, please feel free to reach us in order to organize a similar event in your region or in your area. Then we have hashtag I am biobased, and this is a brochure with some guidelines and sample materials for using social media. We know that for consumers, everything related to communication about the benefits of bio-based materials, it is really, really important. And sometimes brand owners and consumers do not manage to communicate properly. So with this brochure, the idea is to support brand owners when communicating key aspects of their bio-based transition to consumers. For consolidation tools, we are all bio-based. This is a nice brochure, and it's related to information to be provided to the staff from the brand owners. We know that for a change to be successful, the whole company needs to be committed. So by using this brochure, the let's say directive positions from the brand owner will be able to communicate to the rest of the staff the benefits for starting this journey and this BioSwitch transition. And then we have open innovation tools. This is a set of 3 tools. We have a booklet that presents key ideas behind open innovation. We also have a short video with key concepts about the main open innovation tools that can be used, like a hackathon or incubators or that kind of stuff. And then also we have an open innovation assessment, which is done for free. So it's a very brief survey. You fill the questions and you will receive in your email an assessment of which is your open innovation status and a suggestion of the different tools and open innovation actions that you could implement in order to improve your open innovation strategy at the company. We have also a set of webinars. You can register now at the BioSwitch website, and we invite you to attend these webinars. They are sector focused. So we'll have the first one focusing on bio-based plastics. The second one will be focused on bio-based textiles. The third one is focused on bio-based chemistry, and the final one is focused on agri-food sector. So feel free to join us in this set of sector-based webinars, because we will be delving into the different challenges, success cases, and best practices for every of these sectors. After the webinars are organized, the video recordings will be available at project website. And finally, aside from the tools that we have developed in the frame of the BioSwitch project and that form together the BioSwitch Toolbox, we have also included in the website links to other tools that we think that might be interesting in your BioSwitch journey. For example, we have the video A Bio-Based Day, also a recording for the webinar for biochemicals. There is also some frequent asked questions for bioplastics and also for public procurement in the bio-based area. There are also a couple of additional videos, one for bioplastics for packaging, challenges and opportunities, and also European consumers' perceptions of sustainable packaging. Also some information and the journey that the organizations face regarding bioeconomy. You can find also a link to the BioArt Gallery, which is a set of panels and photographic pictures using bio-based materials, and also bio-based food packaging, which is an interactive slideshow related to the food sector. So this is all for the BioSwitch Toolbox. We encourage you to check the project website and play with the tools and get the most out of them. So now I'm going to leave the floor to my colleague Sami from BTT. He's going to present the sustainability assessment tool. So please, Sami, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Let's share the screen with you. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So this is now the so-called sustainability assessment tool. What you can do with it, basically, it's an online cloud system where you can perform life cycle assessment. And life cycle assessments of different projects or products, partial products, even entire value chains. So it doesn't have to be restricted to one single microscopic product. Now, you have been provided, I think, the link to this service. This is an open service to everybody. We have also built some special similar kinds of services for the brand owners, but those are not public. This is public and everybody can access this. You can just simply maybe follow the BioSwitch website link or Google Modeling Factory and then find this Network LCA tool. What you need to do first is to register. So the landing page first asks you to register. Once you've done it, this is the page that will open up for you. What you do next is you choose a project from this project listing. We have made a demo project for you, which is an extremely simple packaging related life cycle assessment model. So you choose the model and this type of template opens up, and pay attention to this line here. These are the main functionalities of this tool. There is first, this sort of progresses in the same way as how you would perform a life cycle assessment. There is a data collection sheet. So basically a customer or users can fill in some data values which are related to the assessment, what kind of inputs they have, what kind of materials they are using, what kind of processes they have, etc. That would be collected on this leaf, but we don't need it now because the model has been already pre-populated with some simple average database data. So you just navigate basically to the LCA models leaf and select the model, which in this case is called BioSwitch test model. Then all these models, they can have several layers. They are hierarchical. So you first need to choose what is the root, so-called root flow sheet. And we are going to choose this general packaging. And then you can open up sub flow sheets if there are sub processes. And this can be fairly detailed or actually as detailed as you wish. This division, it depends on the model builder's data choices and how much data you have provided, but it can be extremely detailed. Now you choose some of these underlying sheets of the model. And let's see, I have to adjust the picture a bit here. And here is the simple model. All of these boxes here, which can describe now different types of materials that you feed into your package production process, they can open up once you click them. There can be underlying sheets there. And as I said, this is a hierarchical structure. You can also publish, or we can publish as the model builder, different sheets and different views to different users, so that a big LCA assessment model can be shared by many players, but they all can only see their own part. For example, if there is a company that provides just electricity, they would just see this bit. If there is a company that produces the packages, they would just see this bit, and so on and so forth. And this way, they don't directly share the data with each other, but all the assessment results can be then read off from here once we calculate them first. Let me choose here the suitable representation for the data to be calculated from this model. There are different ways how you can divide your data into groups in terms of processes that are being used, or in terms of some sort of color codes or materials that you have chosen to track. And I'm choosing here the codes with processes, and I'm initializing the model. Actually, now here are the results. And yes, if the model builder has provided you some graphical charts or whatever, you can then plot those as well. And here you can choose the depth of the model. In what it means basically is how many lines will be shown, and you can make it either more detailed, description of the results, or you can make it less detailed. And maybe this is the simplest. I'll just leave the few lines here, which now show you the main materials, and then all the LCA results, the different KPIs, the indicators that the LCA process produces, are then calculated here. So mostly, I suppose, it's the climate change CO2 equivalents that are of interest, but you can also get all the other kinds of KPIs: land use, eutrophication, ecotoxicity, freshwater usage, so water footprints, etc., etc. They are all here, and the detailed list depends now on what type of assessment method has been chosen, and that again depends on you. And then how do you, tell the modeler that these are the sort of recipes that we want to follow, and those are all automatically then taken into account, and you get the results here. So let's now see what, for example, this package production has eaten. And down here, you can now make changes by yourself. You don't need the modeler or us anymore. This is just for you, up to you to decide what type of inputs you actually have for your process. And you can make the changes here. For example, if we change the electricity production, somehow our process is not using 1 kilowatt hour, but 10, then you can simply recalculate the results, and then you see, these numbers change here. And similarly for, the packaging materials, whether you have bio-based or some other materials, you can do similar kinds of tracking. Then finally, let me just show you, you can also make comparisons between bio-based and non-bio-based options. And sorry, I have to choose the flow sheet here first. Let's say general packaging and paper package. Okay, I want to compare these things, and let's calculate. And here you then get a detailed report again, where you can see, the percentage-wise differences, how big differences there is between the paper bag, for example, and the baseline solution. I'm not going to go into any details here, but you can get a very detailed comparison. And you can also choose more options than just 2 if you have, more possibilities for comparison. So that's basically the tool. So you can perform lifecycle assessment, you can perform your alternatives with each other, and you can also change the inputs here and try out different kinds of materials, for example, or amounts, depending on your detailed process knowledge. And you can, so to speak, help yourself. You don't need us anymore after the model has been first set up for you. And you can just access this cloud service and try it out. And I think I have already exceeded my time, so I'll probably stop here. Thank you.
Thank you, Sami. So we have a question in the chat box for you regarding the tool. I don't know if you can see it. It's from Eduardo.
Okay. Let's see if I... where is the chat box here? Chat there. So let's see the question. This one?
It's about the LCA and the subdivisions for materials and so.
I will probably read the question because
okay. Yes.
I think attendees cannot see neither. So the question is, Eduardo is saying, I understand that your LCA tool was using basic data for the purposes of your demonstration, but do the materials option include subdivisions? Specifically, I'm thinking of vacuum depositions or other coatings on substrates.
Yes. Yes, so this could all be included. This is, I mean, this is the modeling system is completely malleable to any format that you want or any level of details, basically. This was just something simple for you to play with and test it out. And if you have a serious model, you should just contact us and that will be prepared and uploaded, and then you can make it as detailed as you wish. Coatings, you name it.
Okay, thank you for answering the question, Sami. So,
yeah, thank you.
Okay, and I think that Eduardo is happy also with your answer. So that's all for the presentations regarding 3K outputs. One was the self-assessment test, then the BIOSWITCH toolbox itself, and then one of the tools that we have developed, which is the sustainability assessment tool. So this is now the question and answer time. We have already answered the question from Eduardo. So I don't know if there are further questions. Please feel free to write them in the chat box or raise your hand. Otherwise, I think that we can stop here.
Okay, I will just read the last question as Eduardo, because before this one, Eduardo also made another question. He wanted to clarify if he could access the tools without completing the assessment. So it's completely possible. In the follow-up email, I will probably also share with you the link to access all the tools in case you are interested. So yeah, I think that was the other question, but I don't know if there is someone who wants to.
Yes. Actually, the self-assessment test is only a guidance for you to just check the tools that would be more relevant for you. You know that sometimes in European projects, you end up with a bunch of, I don't know, 10, 20 tools. So when you enter the website, you might end up lost a little bit between all the tools. So by doing the test in the first place, we will provide you some insights about which tools could be relevant for you, your organization, and your starting point. Anyhow, if you don't want to do the test, you can just enter the website, surf a little bit between the different tools and check all the tools and decide which is the most relevant for you yourself. Okay, so I think that's all for the webinar. Thank you everybody for being here today. We will upload the recording to the project website. If you have any question, if you need support in your BIOSWITCH transition, please feel free to reach us. And that's all. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.